AI.
AI.
DALL-E 3.
DALL-E 3.
DALL-E 3.
AI has been everywhere recently, and one of the latest developments in AI is the release of DALL-E 3, which is currently available on Bing Image Creator for free. So I got curious about what puzzle variants DALL-E 3 can come up with. This video is going to be a bit different from the usual custom cuber video, as I'll be reacting to AI-generated puzzles instead of making new ones. We'll see if DALL-E 3 can provide good ideas for puzzles, and since I'm a sticker modder, I'm also going to be on the lookout for good ideas for new sticker mods. Let's get started. Okay, so first up would be steampunk. I have seen steampunk Rubik's Cube mods in the past, and they do look cool, so I know that this theme can be translated into a puzzle, so I feel like this is an easy one to start with. These are pretty good. I'm amazed that it actually included some steampunk-related items in the background. If we examine this closer though, we can see that I don't think that it's that effective. Like, it does look simple, as a lot of elements that you would expect from a steampunk-themed object are there, but there really isn't anything that helps you figure out how this is solved. I like that there are gears in the middle though. I can imagine this being similar to one of the twisty puzzles that have some sort of dial that works with a mod. But yeah, I don't see how this can be an effective puzzle as it is, unless those rivets that you can kind of see on the faces have something in common so that you know that they're supposed to be solved together. And as someone who creates sticker mods, this puzzle doesn't really do anything for me. Let's try the other one. Now this one is pretty much the same thing as well. It looks cool, of course. You can see the common elements around the metal finish of the cube, but yeah, there's nothing really here that tells you how this is solved. And we have another one. So this one actually has rivets at the top that kind of look similar, and kind of tells us that those belong to the same face. And yeah, some of the stuff on the left side kind of look the same too. So maybe if we want to think of this as a cube, you just have to put similar metal elements together, like some bolts and nuts, or some rivets, some screws, gears. Yeah, it would be something like that. So for moderns who are more into mechanical creations, that could work. Yeah, honestly, it just looks cool, but there's nothing here that really makes it an interesting puzzle. Though, I think this is a good way to jumpstart some ideas for a puzzle, so that's kind of great. So let's try another one. Now this time, let's stay with the Victorian theme, and let's try asking DALL-E for something Lovecraftian. Now that's pretty cool. So the first thing that comes to mind immediately is maybe I should get some glow-in-the-dark stickers for my mods, because that will be cool. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of tentacles crossing from one face to another, and I know that there is already a puzzle that incorporates that. I think there's something that has an octopus on top with actual 3D tentacles that go from one face to another. It's not just a flat design, it's an actual 3D octopus in there. But this also looks cool. I love the cosmic explosion thing going on behind the tentacle monster. So the one on the right is really cool in terms of being a sticker mod. I love the idea. At the top, it's just basically a picture puzzle or a picture cube, and on the left side, it's pretty much the same thing. But this actually gives me some ideas of what I can do with this theme. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I really love the space thing. I might do that actually, because it revolves around the center. Yeah, but it's really nice. I like it. This requires a black base cube, which is easy to get. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Or actually, you can do this on a translucent cube. I don't know, that's something to explore, but this is a great starting off idea. Now, this one is a little bit more 3D with some embossing. Again, some tentacles overlapping, different faces on the right side, so that's pretty cool. The prints kind of look like they're sort of embossed or carved into the cube, which is, again, really cool. So I can see people actually making this. The symbols are pretty, yeah, they kind of fit the theme. But for some of them, I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be. Like, the eyes are pretty clear, but there are like spider tentacly things on the right side there. The centerpiece on the right is just a weird mesh of lines. I don't know what's happening there. There's a weird face that kind of looks like E.T. Still a great idea though. Okay, so for the last one, visually, it looks amazing. I actually like the lighting here, but to be honest, as a puzzle, there isn't really a lot here that's going on. This could be a thing though. There could be a puzzle in which you kind of have to match pictures based on a certain theme. Maybe the theme can kind of overlap with other sets of pictures and other faces as well. Yeah, my big takeaway here is actually the pattern. So some of these patterns can actually work on a face of their own. And they're going to make a really complicated puzzle, like the brain puzzle, where you're just relying really on the lines of the brain. So in this case, you're going to rely on the shapes of the tentacles to make sure that the cube is solved and all that. Again, this is just useful as a jumping off idea. And come to think of it, we can actually do something with the eyes because they have a central point. So you can have something that's like a void cube where the middle of the eye is really just the centerpiece, but the shape of the eye around it can be different because we are seeing different kinds of eyes here. So maybe that's something we can use AI for. We can search for different Lovecraftian eyes, for example, and then you'll see what different kinds of eyes you can have around the centerpiece. So that could be cool. It's still just a picture cube, but if you leave the centerpiece blank, maybe that can incorporate a void cube kind of solve, which is pretty interesting. And we can have opposite faces with similar eyes that have common characteristics but aren't really working towards the solve. Yeah, something like that could be interesting. For this next one, let's look into an actual glow-in-the-dark theme. So I didn't expect to see a glow-in-the-dark theme when I tried the Lovecraftian prompt, but I have another theme in mind that should actually show up as glow-in-the-dark. So let's try something bioluminescent. Well, this is a disappointment. I don't know. Maybe the prompt should be more specific. But I really only have a few credits and I want to go through all the themes first and then maybe we can use the remaining credits to actually go a little bit more specific with the prompts. These look like the Afterlife cube, which was a really great concept, but in this case, I don't know, there's no value in this aside from it looking cool. I mean, visually, yeah, this looks amazing, but it's just a plain cube. So, this one is very disappointing. So, let's forget that happened and let's shift to another theme. But maybe let's stick with a water-related theme, so let's go nautical. Now, I don't know how the system is going to interpret this. Okay, so this one just really gave us picture cubes. So yeah, let's take a closer look. I mean, it's a picture cube, but it also doesn't really work as a picture cube because you have very different pictures here. Although, I mean, you can maybe have a face with just different types of anchors and another face with different types of shells plus another one with different types of starfish, but that's all that there is to it. Really. It does look good. I mean, I like the color scheme, but there's a scary looking fish on the upper left side there. I don't know what's going on there. Some of the ideas here can be translated into a cube, like that sort of wheel there. So that can be turned into something. I mean, it's something that has a center. And I really like when shapes are symmetrical and have a clear center because you can focus on that for a 3x3 layout. This one, I like the art style for this one. But as a puzzle, it doesn't really do anything. So yeah, for me, the only value of this picture is the art style. And there's a weird shell that looks like an anchor. That's so weird. There are weird starfish here and there. Starfish that only have 4, legs? Tentacles? I realized I don't know what you call those feet on starfish. But yeah, again, the only value here is the art style. I don't see anything here that can give us value as a puzzle. And this time we got 4 images, so yeah, same thing. In this one though, we got a 4x3x3 with a weird center on the top face. I don't know what's happening there. But yeah, it's just a bit trippy with pictures that don't really make sense when you look at them. There's a squid that kind of looks like an anchor. That's pretty cool. And there's an anchor beside it that's all wrangled up. So here's one cool thing though. I like how the top layer has some designs that look like sand. And then that design kind of overflows into the sides. So for the piece that's facing us, it's kind of the surface of the sea. And there's a starfish at the top. And then maybe kind of underwater would be your anchors. So there's also this orange one at the top right where you can kind of have where you have the surface of the sand, and then below that would be a shell. So that's a great idea. We could have an underwater, or I don't know, maybe like a beach themed cube where the top layer is sand and then you go through the depths as you go through the other layers. So that could be a thing. I don't know how it would really work as a puzzle other than just being a picture cube. So here's the thing about picture cubes. I keep mentioning picture cubes, and the thing is, for me, it doesn't really add a challenge except for the oriented centers, which is, yeah, I mean, it's an additional challenge, but I feel like we have to present more in puzzles. So yeah, I don't know. I can think about that, but that's a great idea. Okay, let's try something totally different now. Let's go with cyberpunk, and I hope this doesn't give us something from the game. Because here's the problem with the term cyberpunk now. Before you get generic cyberpunk themed stuff when you search for it, you usually get stuff related to the game first. And I have nothing against the game, I personally played it. But yeah, it's kind of hard to really drill down on the generic stuff that you want to see now. Okay, so now we have cubes in the middle of a cyberpunk city. I mean, sure. I guess let's check it out. This is just a random cube that fell into the city. The reflection doesn't even match the actual cube, so I don't know. No ideas come to mind. This doesn't even... It's not even good for brainstorming puzzle ideas. So yeah, no, not this one. That's not it. Okay, this one, again, is just a random cube falling into the city. Nothing, it does nothing. It's just regular colors there. There's a weird part there in the middle where there's only one layer on the left side, but 2 layers on the right side. Yeah, that's the craziest part of that, so nothing really. This one is a little bit cool. Again, the reflection doesn't really match, but it kind of looks holographic. But at the end of the day, it just looks cool. There's nothing really that would tell me how to solve this. Yeah, we can try with better prompts later, maybe for this one, just because it really just doesn't work. Yeah, I don't know what else to make of this, so let's close this one and let's try something different. So let's try something that's more on the artsy side of things. Art Deco, maybe? Okay, that's definitely not Art Deco. What is this? This is more of a metallic theme. It doesn't even look cool. It's just like a broken set of things. I don't know. Yeah, this one is I don't know I don't know what to make of this. It can look cool. I mean, at first glance, it's like, ooh, that's a shiny, cool thing. But what is it? Everything that you can see on this cube doesn't really add value to anything. Now, this one is just basically a mirror cube. Again, doesn't do anything. I don't know what this is. Definitely not Art Deco. Yeah. Okay. That was way too boring, so let's try something psychedelic. Okay, that's a lot of colors. And I mean, it's kind of what we're expecting based on the theme. Yeah, sure, let's check it out. How trippy is this? This one is really cool. As a puzzle, I'm not sure how it can make sense though. I mean, there's a sort of color scheme going on, like blue, orange, and pink, and green on the right side. Yeah, that's a very intricate pattern for each face. That could be cool per face, maybe. But at the end of the day, it's just really a picture. I don't know if I want to take the effort to actually do something intricate like this. And it's just going to be a bit tricky unless you do an intricate design like this, and it can kind of be identical with other facelets and play with symmetry or something like that. Wow, now this one is an assault on the senses. This is something that I was expecting from the bioluminescent one, and I really can't move on from that because it just gave us a plain cube. Anyway, this is so cool, and I noticed that the centers are very similar to each other. Now, you can play with the relationships between the swirls here, so this will be interesting. There are a lot of ideas that can be taken away from this. So I see a lot of very symmetrical sections. There's a sort of pink butterfly going on in the left and right sides, and there are spirals going on in the corners. So yeah, I mean, it's a matter of just figuring out which spirals or which patterns go with which faces using this color scheme. Now, I've been wondering what to do with a yellow cube. So I have this neon yellow force cube I haven't used, and I was worried about what color scheme I could use for that, and maybe this one could actually work. It is more of a yellow-orange thing though, so I don't know if purple and pink would also look good on neon yellow. Yeah, but I think this looks cool, and it gives me a lot of ideas of what I can do with a puzzle that has this theme. Okay, this is very intricate. I'm amazed with this. As a puzzle, I think it has the same value as the other one if we want to put relationships between the patterns from one face to another. But that's pretty much it. In terms of intricacy though, this is amazing. It's really cool to look at. Now this one, the same ideas can be derived from this, but I think it's just the lighting, really, that makes this look cool. It's intricate, but it doesn't really make that much sense. So for me, this one doesn't have a lot of value. It just really looks aesthetically cool. Okay, let's go a different direction. What if we do street art? Oh, okay. That is not what I expected for street art. I was kind of looking for graffiti. Well, come to think of it, this is actual graffiti of a cube, not the graffiti being on the cube. Again, it's the prompt. I know it's the prompt, but I want to start with something super basic for the prompts just to see what happens. So this one is another design drawn on a wall. What are these characters? Some of them scare me, honestly. These look like pop culture icons that are kind of rebranded, I guess. I mean, at first glance, they look like regular cartoon characters, but when you really look at them, they're horrifying. And you have the same one here, just in a differently sized cube. But yeah, I mean, based on the prompt, it kind of follows the instructions, so I guess, sure, okay. Let's have another one. This time, let's go with the vaporwave. Well, yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for, I think. But, okay, let's look at these and see if they have value as puzzles. Okay, what even is this? Without everything in the background, it's just really a pastel puzzle and there's nothing interesting about this. Okay, this one is a little bit of 3D and it has a little bit of embossing. But at the end of the day, to be honest, there isn't really anything here. Aside from just the theme, this cube doesn't really support any ideas. I mean, these are regular patterns, so there are good patterns, but yeah, I don't think we need this cube to come up with these specific patterns. Now, this one, it does spark some ideas, but again, we didn't really need this cube for those ideas. These are just basic patterns that you can come up with, even without this cube. And to be fair, these black patterns, these aren't even specifically vaporwave. They're just random patterns on a vaporwave colored cube. And it's actually borderline not vaporwave anymore. It's just pastel, really. Okay, this one, same thing. It doesn't really look cooler than the other ones, though this looks like it has a more, I don't know, what's the word for that? Maybe sensible pattern scheme? Bottom line, it's just a picture cube. Does it spark ideas? Yeah, I mean, I can see these shapes being used in a puzzle, but yeah, we didn't need this cube to come up with those patterns. Okay, I have another theme here. I don't know what it's going to come up with considering what it showed us for Cyberpunk, but let's try this one. And then after this one, we can try coming up with better prompts for the previous themes to see what else DALL-E can show us. Because the way I understand it, the skill that you need for AI really is in the prompting. Oh, wow. I didn't know what to expect, but these are cool. I can already see that these might not have value as puzzles, but I want them maybe as wallpapers for my phone or something. This one is pretty epic. It has totally no value as a puzzle and it has those weird pieces in the middle there. So nothing to say aside from this being cool. And I don't know much about mecha, so maybe people who are more well-versed with mech or robotics and building maybe models of mech might see that there are faults within the robotics system. So the legs, the arms here, maybe the model here is not sound. I don't know. But if you have any idea of what machines like this should look like, feel free to post a comment below. This one also looks cool. I like that there are lights going around it. I would imagine if this were animated, the lights would be going around the facelets. Again, no value as a puzzle. That cubelet though, that one in front, in the middle, that kind of has like a Star Wars design. I can see a cube being designed with elements like that to make the puzzle look more techie or more modern space age themed, that kind of thing. So this sparks some ideas, but I didn't really need this image to have that idea. I could have taken that idea from another photo reference. Oh no, this one is just a robot with a thing in front of it. It's not even a Rubik's Cube, it's not even a cube to begin with. It's not even a puzzle, it's nothing. It's an object with this guy who kind of looks like a cyberpunk building. I would have loved to see something like this when we typed cyberpunk earlier. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I can already see that the mech it's not really an ideal mech, I guess. I mean, this isn't how mechs normally look like, just based on what I've seen in pop culture. Again, I don't know much about mech, but yeah, this one's weird. This one's bad even. I mean, I won't even want this as a wallpaper because it just doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have anything. Okay, this one, I don't know. The mech has way too much detail. And then there's a huge cube in the middle of the mech where its crotch should be. And it doesn't even, it's just there. It's like the cube just kind of faced into the mech. It's not even built into the mech. It just went through the mech and suddenly stayed there. It's weird. I don't like this one. The more I look at it, the more it looks wrong, so we're just going to move on. Okay, so we still have a few credits left and we already went through 10 themes. Some of them were interesting, some were really not interesting, but I want to go back to them, maybe try a different prompt. So let's skip the steampunk one. I don't really know what else to say here. I think it already captures what we kind of want to see in a steampunk Rubik's Cube. The only thing that I think would be missing here would be pipes moving from one face to another, but we already have puzzles like that, so I'm not really going to go into trying to come up with a steampunk version of that, because we already have it and we can just iterate on what's existing. So yeah, it's already a given and it doesn't really give us new ideas. For the Lovecraftian ones, I really like these, but again, I didn't really expect something that's kind of glow in the dark. And I love the tentacles idea. There's a lot that can be done with that as a puzzle, but I kind of want to see what else it can give us. I kind of want to see something that's more 3D, because there's a lot that you can do with a Lovecraft theme, since glow in the dark is not really the first thing that I think of when I think of Lovecraft. I guess I'm looking for a more dark, cosmic, Victorian kind of theme. I was looking for more blues and purples, maybe pinks. So I don't know what to put in here. Maybe we can see something with an eldritch color scheme. Maybe that could help with tentacles, with 3D tentacles. And this is just off the top of my head. I'm sure we can refine this further if we want to, and I'd like to have your ideas in the comments below on how you think we can refine this prompt. I'm still learning how to do this, so that would be great. And by the way, I also want to hear your comments below to see what your thoughts are on these responses that we got from DALL-E 3. So, Lovecraftian Rubik's Cube with an eldritch color scheme with 3D tentacles, maybe? Let's say wrapped around the cube. I hope this works. So the boosts are, these credits, they're replenished on a weekly basis. I don't really know what day that refreshes, and right now I'm doing this on a Saturday, so I'm not sure if tomorrow this is going to be refreshed. I guess I can just keep on checking. When this refreshes, I really want to try this out more. And there you go. Oh, this is cool. This is really cool. I like the second one more, but let's look at the first one. Now, this one is a basic puzzle. I mean, it only has one color all throughout, and it has tentacles wrapped around. I mean, yeah, it met our expectations in terms of the prompt. I really like the tentacles here. You can even do this in just 2D, with tentacles going from one face to another, kind of like a maze cube, but with tentacles, that would be really cool. And then I can see some engravings at the top, so that's something that we can add to the overall feel of the puzzle. So this is great. This is really great. This is something we can do on a sticker mod level too. And for those who are working on 3D models, so 3D printing stuff or sculpting stuff, this can really work. I love that. Now, I'm excited for the second one because this actually uses different colors. And what excites me about this is that there's a yellow tentacle that actually overlaps into the pink side. And I love that idea. So you can still have individual colors and different faces, but you can have tentacles that go into the other side. And it still has its original color going there. So you can kind of have that overlap, and then you can have gradients too. The yellow tentacle actually kind of goes into the pink color. So yeah, the colors are great. I love this color scheme. You can have the same color scheme on the other side, on the other three faces that we don't see. So opposite sides can have the same color, but you'll have like different configurations of where the tentacles will go on both sides, so that the configuration of the and the overlaps of the tentacles actually play into the solid state. And you kind of have to figure out how the tentacles will match up. So it's something to think about, but yeah, this is really cool. It's one of the best ones that I've seen so far. Okay, so let's go back to probably the worst set of responses we got earlier, which is this one. So, okay, bioluminescent Rubik's Cube. What do we want to say here? With a glow-in-the-dark theme, maybe? I feel like if I say glow-in-the-dark, it's just going to give us the neon, green, and black theme. But I kind of want to see like neon purple, neon blue, or pink. So I want to add that using neon green, blue, pink, and maybe purple. Using different neon colors, maybe. Different neon colors, and showing bioluminescent creatures in their habitat. I feel like when we said wrapped around for the previous prompt, for the tentacles one, that's what made the elements interact from one face to another. So, moving around the cube, I don't know how the system will interpret that, but it's worth a try. And I also don't want to keep repeating words for the prompts because I want to explore what else it can actually translate into something that could be a puzzle. So I don't want to keep saying wrapped around the cube for all of the prompts because that's going to limit us. I want to see what vocabulary we can actually use for this. And let me know if that's something you want to see, if you want to know what prompts actually work. Okay, so now we know moving around the cube doesn't really work. These are picture cubes. Okay, I mean, sure, bioluminescent creatures and the colors are there, but it's a picture cube with some cool lighting. And the creatures seem to have been drawn by a kid. I mean, they're cute, but that's not what we want. And same thing for this one. Yeah, same thing for this one. And same thing for this one. If you really look at the creatures, they don't even make sense. They're just like random creatures. So, yeah, okay. Given we don't know what creatures are there in the deep end of the sea, so okay, maybe these could be bioluminescent creatures. But yeah, I don't know. So, what else can we fix here? The nautical theme. I don't know how to fix this, honestly. I'm going to skip that for now. I really don't know what to say to kind of force it to show what we want. This one was very broken. This one was really, really bad. But I think cyberpunk is a pretty good theme for a Rubik's Cube, so I don't really know. Okay, cyberpunk, Rubik's Cube with maybe electronic elements? Again, I kind of want to say wrap around the cube in a different way. I don't know how else to say that. Maybe connected from one face of the cube to another. and I kind of want to isolate it from the cityscape background because honestly, it's just the cityscape that makes it look cyberpunk. So let's say connected from one face of the cube to another. The cube should be in a plain white background, so let's try this one. I hope this works. Oh my god, these are cool. Now, we lost the usual cyberpunk color scheme of like teal and pink and yellow and purple, but these are really good. So, there's a lot that can be taken from this. I know we already have puzzles that have wires or maybe rope or maybe like a certain bar that connects from one face to another. So we already have those bandage cubes, and that's what the wires here are kind of representing in terms of being a puzzle. But what I like here really is the texture of the faces. So that's really cool. It looks like a cyberpunk city, but it also looks like the inside of a computer. It's really awesome. I don't really have any specific ideas right now that I can come up with from this, but I feel like if I was really looking into creating a puzzle that's within this theme, this can sort of give me some inspiration of what textures I can incorporate into a design. So let's look at the other ones. So same thing, but this one has some lights in it, and it looks more like a weird city, honestly. It's like the electrical system of a city. So this looks cool. This one is an exaggerated version of that previous one. Still looks cool, but this one is just way too intricate for a puzzle. And yeah, another motherboard looking one. So if you look at it closely, most of them are pretty much the same thing, but I really like the panels on this one. There are a lot of connections, and that's something you can do in 2D. You can have different lines connecting from one part to another, and maybe you can even incorporate a concept that, of course, the lines have to meet each other so that something lights up. Of course, if you're just doing stickers, it's not something that truly lights up. You already have the light and the sticker, but that's the instruction for solving the puzzle. You have to make the wires kind of meet each other. So anyway, better than what it showed us earlier. Maybe we can actually refine the prompts further for that. Okay, two more. We have this one. I don't know how to further fix this because I don't know where. I'm not sure what it didn't really understand. I mean, Art Deco is way more colorful than this one. Maybe we can say with the deep and vibrant colors. And geometric shapes. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna work, but I want to try. I know this is kind of vague, but I want to see what it can come up with using these instructions. So this is more of an experiment thing. I think we need to spend more time really experimenting with prompts. Yeah, so see, this is Art Deco, and this is really cool. Now, I can see it has like pseudo 3D elements in here. Some of them are kind of, it's 2D, but some of them look embossed and all that. So this is really cool. So many different patterns you can choose from, and the color schemes are amazing. So yeah, so many ideas that can be derived from this. Of course, right now it's just really a picture cube. It's not really even a picture cube because the elements don't make sense with each other. But if you look at the left panel there, you can have some lines that cross from one facelet to another. This other one is more of a stained glass kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, same thing, patterns that can be useful for a puzzle. Yeah, this is more of a stained glass thing as well. Cool color scheme, but if you really look at it closely, there's nothing really going on in there. It's just really random patterns. Yeah, there were more structured patterns in the first one, so this doesn't really do much. So this one doesn't even have facelets on the left and the right side. It just really gave up on the facelets there. But there are really great patterns here, like on the left and the right side, there are two very different things. So I like that the X going on the right side has some shading. It kind of looks like a 3D-ish thing. Yeah, it looks like a whole art style on its own. And then on the left side, it looks like a totem of some sort. Yeah, that's really cool. And it gives you gradients as well. I've never really done something with a gradient, if I'm remembering correctly, so that might look cool. It's a little weird because it looks cel-shaded, but it also has a lot of gradients there. So yeah, I think this is an art style that can be explored because I think it really looks good in a puzzle. But of course, in terms of solving, there's a lot to be done here. But yeah, just in terms of coloring, this is a great idea. So a lot of ideas can come from this, and this is very Art Deco now. I mean, compared to the, I don't know, chrome boxes from earlier, that was really weird. Yeah. Okay, what else can we fix? This one is the psychedelic one, which is kind of what we wanted. Oh yeah, the street art one. Now, the problem here is that it actually makes street art. That was kind of the actual instruction. So, I mean, yeah, maybe we just refine it a bit. Yeah, maybe for this one, we actually remove this and then we say with a street art theme. Okay, and then just to emphasize that this is a cube we're looking for, maybe we can say something like the cube should be placed on a wooden desk. Now, the wooden desk isn't really important here. I just want it to be placed on something. I mean, the wooden desk is the most default thing I can think of. Maybe not street art, you know? Maybe we can try graffiti. Because I can see how street art can easily be misinterpreted. So what we're really looking for is graffiti on the walls, but on a Rubik's Cube. So let's try this out. And let me know in the comments if you want more videos like this where we just explore what AI can do to cubes. Of course, I'm not going to stop creating actual puzzles because AI is still not good at creating puzzles, which is kind of a great thing. And yeah, oh my god, these are awesome. So yeah, this one's cool. Nothing really makes sense at all, but damn, that's cool. I mean, if one of those patterns on one of the facelets is expanded throughout the whole face, that would be awesome. And you can make the argument that that's just a picture too, but if you have very similar elements on different faces, this could be cool. So yeah, a lot of ideas from this. Again, I can't really recognize anything. It doesn't really make sense. No letters or whatever. But I mean, it captures the essence of street art, I guess. I mean, in terms of art style. So yeah, pretty cool. This one again is just, wow. I think that's what intestines would look like if you had to create graffiti for it. And we can't even see the top part to know what's in there. You can't really see much of the right side as well. So overall, this doesn't really have value for me. It just has a pretty cool art style. So yeah, this one is pretty similar to the first one. So I guess same comments. And this one is just in a different color scheme. But it's also pretty much the same thing. It just has graffiti on the faces, which is what I wanted, but this is way better. This is way better than our first try for street art, where it just gave us legitimate street art. I mean, not legitimate, but I mean literally street art. And now we know that it's really about tweaking the prompt. I mean, that's the point of these things. You just have to know how to actually type in your prompts to make sure that you get what you want. So that was fun, and for now my main takeaway is that AI can't really create puzzles on the same level as humans can. Yeah, I guess we'll see. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more videos like this, and in the meantime, check out the human-created puzzle on your screen right now.